Hello, I'm going to introduce to you some drawing techniques in the architectural sense. We are thinking about planning a Mongolian summer camp. Now we have to start with the room layout plan or Funktionsschema. This is very important in order to understand how many rooms are needed, where they are located, and the most important thing are the connecting parts. So in order to see how many doors every room will have. And also if they have external access. So you can see I'm trying to place the different rooms around the main hall. That is like the most important room for me. And I can already tell that the kitchen, for instance, needs access by delivery from the exterior, and also something like the cafeteria needs a terrace, things like this. And so you can see how I'm placing the different rooms around the hall, and I'm following in its arrangement something like the Mongolian jur in order to stick to some cultural specific setup for a room or a building or some kind of a living construction. And so I think it makes a lot of sense to think in a circular structure. Hier sieht man also, dass ich verschiedene Räume gruppiere einen zentralen Raum. Das ist die Eingangshalle. Und das ist besonders wichtig, um zu sehen, wie viele man davon braucht. Man sieht das oben, das sind die verschiedenen Schlafräume, die sind alle verbunden mit einem Flur, beziehungsweise das sind entweder sind sie verbunden mit einem Flur oder sie sind einzeln, das sieht man jetzt hier außen rum. Und dann, das sind die Dorms, und man macht das, um zu sehen, wie viele Türen man benötigt, wie viele Zugänge. Und man sieht dann hier auch, dass diese Eingangshalle sehr, sehr viele unterschiedliche Zugänge hat. Man versucht dadurch dann, die Zugänge zu anderen Bereichen zu reduzieren. Jetzt kommen wir zum Grundriss. Now we come to the floor plan. Now we have to actually transfer this scheme to a floor plan. And for the floor plan, we ideally start again with a scale, thinking about what could the scale potentially be. And I'm starting with a circular shape in order to pick up the idea of the jur. And my scale is 1 meter, is one little box. That means the scale is 1 to 200. So one of the graph paper boxes is a meter times a meter. Also meine Skala ist, mein Maßstab ist 1 zu 200. Und ich messe also jetzt hier ab, dass meine Eingangshalle 10 Meter hat im Durchmesser. Und ich bleibe bei der runden Form, denn damit orientiere ich mich an der mongolischen Jurte. Jetzt addiere ich einzelne Gebäudeteile. Das ist jetzt praktisch hier der Anfang von der Turnhalle. Und ich merke jetzt auch relativ schnell, die ist ja viel zu klein. Sie muss nach unten hin verlängert werden. So I'm adding the gym. But I noticed it was way too small at the beginning. The scale is 1 to 200, so it has to be quite big in order to play some games in there. And that little narrow part is the entrance to the gym. We can also store some things, so it's always very convenient. Or you can also have an external entrance for visitors. And here come the changing rooms on the side. Then I add on the other side, I add another building part that is in a square shape. Rectangular buildings or building parts or rooms make a lot of sense for furniture. They're much easier to access, and it's much easier to arrange them more economically, saving space. So I'm adding these in a circular way. That unfortunately means that I'm getting rid of this jur structure for a start, but maybe we can re-add this. Now I'm just working myself off with the bathrooms here. It's not so easy to arrange bathrooms that are then accessible for the students. They could also be transgender bathrooms. They don't have to be separated into different sexes. There comes the staircase. That's important because I realize I need more space. I just made this decision that I want to arrange a lot of buildings on top of each other. And I don't want to make it very, very high, but I also want to not occupy too much space. Jetzt versuche ich ein paar Rundungen wieder einzubauen, denn leider sind natürlich jetzt durch das Arrangement der rechtwinkligen Gebäudeteile ist ein Teil der runden Form der Halle verloren gegangen, die ja eigentlich an die Jurte erinnern sollen. Hier arbeite ich jetzt gerade an den also den Toiletten und habe mir überlegt, dass ich sie sehr gerne auch gender neutral machen würde. Das heißt, dass alle Menschen dort diese Toiletten benutzen können. Jetzt addiere ich die Türen. The doors will be implemented to actually get a better understanding of the scale. The doors are always 1 meter wide, so you can kind of understand how large the entire construction will be. There are bigger doors for the gym, and here are the separate changing rooms, or 2 different changing rooms, just for the fact of it. That round-shaped part on top of the gym would be the apartment for the janitor or the caretaker. Now I'm trying to transfer this construction in order to construct the second floor. And I have to repeat the same structure. I can also take transparent paper. Of course, that's easier. But I just thought it makes it clearer to start on a separate paper so that you don't see the structure underneath. But I'm indicating now the supporting wall. Das sind die tragenden Wände, die also das Gewicht tragen. Und eine Spannbreite von 10 Meter kann einfach überspannt werden. Da braucht man keine Säulen. In der Turnhalle müsste es dann eine besondere Säulenkonstruktion, also eine Dachkonstruktion geben. So it's not so difficult to actually suspend the construction over 10 meters actually. And if you have something like the gym, you might need a special roof construction. Now I'm starting to draw the second floor, and I'm copying the main floor, basically the floor plan of the first floor, in order to stick to the supporting walls. Also die tragenden Wände werden übertragen im ersten Stock, damit da die Konstruktion stimmt. Und das ist eben so, dass die Wände sich durchziehen von unten bis oben. In der Regel, wenn ihr an euer Apartment zu Hause denkt oder auch die Schule, dann habt ihr das gleiche Phänomen, dass die Räume eigentlich sich wiederholen. You have the same phenomenon if you think about your apartment at home or the school, that actually the rooms are stacked on top of each other and they stick to the same walls. So the janitor here in his apartment has his own little staircase because he needs a bit more space. And other than that, you see that there are different rooms now that can be used, and the ones that I'm just marking with hatching, there are the roofs that are only covering basically the building part that only cover one floor. And with the second floor, you would only see the roof. It can be used as a terrace or just a blank. It could also be a grass roof, grass thatched. It can also be used for the installation of solar panels. So here, you see that I'm trying to construct a little dorm room. And if you have 2 floors of these, you would have 12 beds, because all 3 beds are bunk beds. So 12 students could actually stay in there. Yeah, and now you can basically see that the next thing that I'm trying to do is I will transfer this to an elevation, but I decide to take the main part for an elevation. That's the main entrance over there. I have to indicate the windows for that, because only that, the windows, actually the height of the windows and the height of the building and the different stories can only be seen in the elevation. Also ich bereite das jetzt vor für die Ansicht. Da müssen die Türen und Fenster eingetragen werden für die Ansicht. Dann wird in der Ansicht das ja deutlich, wie hoch das Gebäude eigentlich ist, beziehungsweise die einzelnen Stockwerke und auch die Fenster oder Türen, die dort eingesetzt sind. Genau, jetzt muss ich praktisch die Seite verlängern für die Ansicht. Und das bedeutet, dass man ein zweites Papier benötigt. You need a second graph paper, and you have to connect your floor plan to your second graph paper in order to pull down the lines and transfer these basically vertical lines then to the elevation plan. And how to do this, I show you here. Jetzt kommt die Ansicht, die Konstruktion der Ansicht. Man verbindet dafür 2 Seiten und man markiert die Eckpunkte. Diese Eckpunkte des Gebäudes werden vertikal nach unten verlängert. So basically the corner points will be pulled down with vertical lines, and pretty long ones actually. The taller the building is, the longer the lines have to be, onto the other paper. And you have to consider that your building, like a normal height of the building would, in an apartment house, most likely be 3 meters. Or 350. In the school, I think we calculated this to be 4 meters, because there's a lot of stuff in the ceiling, like electricity and piping, but also you need some higher rooms than for your halls and, and the classrooms too. Also hier ist die Gebäudehöhe 4 Meter. Das ist eine Gebäudehöhe, die etwas höher ist als dann im Wohnhaus, wo man mit 3 Metern ganz gut klarkommt, inklusive den Sachen, die in der Deckenkonstruktion normalerweise vorzufinden sind. Ich füge jetzt die Fenster ein, die hier sehr hoch liegen. Das ist die Turnhalle. Da können sie oben liegen. Man muss da nicht rausgucken, sondern es soll einfach Tageslicht und Belüftung vorhanden sein. So for the gym, the windows are quite high. You don't have to really look out. It's like good for air circulation and light, sunlight coming in. So I just add 4 pairs of windows, and I would actually stick to them. Also with other parts of the building, but right now I'm also trying to outline the main size of the building, the outline, so you see that the changing rooms are much lower than the gym, which I made extra high so that you can play all kinds of ball games in there, and like gyms are usually higher than other rooms generally. So I have to be exact now, pulling down these parts. Also, this is the back of the building, and at the beginning I said I would get rid of the roundish shape, but now I can actually pull it up through the whole building like a stick or something, like a certain cylindric shape that goes through the building. So it can also be the highest part of the building, and that means it's prominent and to be seen from far away. Also ich kann die Zylinderform aus der Eingangshalle, die kann ich erhalten, indem ich sie einfach höher gestalte als die anderen Gebäudeteile, und dann sieht man sie auch aus Entfernung. Dann habe ich dennoch also praktisch einen sichtbaren Bezug zur mongolischen Jurte. Jetzt kann man also schon sehen, ich habe 1- und 2-stöckige Gebäudeteile und die Halle, die etwas höher ist. Und die gibt mir verschiedene Möglichkeiten. Die ist relativ hoch. Wir haben jetzt hier 11 Meter hohe, eine 11 Meter hohe Halle. Und die gibt mir Möglichkeiten für verschiedene Dinge, Ausstellungen, auch Sachen aufzuhängen, Mobiles oder sonst was. Aber sie gibt mir auch die Möglichkeiten, über diese Luftzirkulation nachzudenken. Und ich kann hier praktisch das Treppenhaus hochführen, das noch ein bisschen höher geht, und damit ist das Dach auch begehbar. So I'm actually pulling up the staircase. It's like the highest part of the whole building in order to step on the building so that there is a roof terrace that can be used. And now I'm just checking out how the windows could be in the first floor, and I realize that there is a possibility for a terrace that can be used for the art room. So for plein air painting or something. And I'm installing this terrace now, which is like very convenient because you can use this roof that's resulting for the terrace that is actually in front of the cafeteria. So the students in summer can sit in the shade, or maybe you can also do something with this in winter time, that you cover this up and have something like a winter garden. These are the classrooms then. They have like the windows that are a bit lower so students can look out. And you can do activities in these rooms like art and music and yoga, meditation, all kinds of things that you want to do in a summer camp. So there's all kinds of possibilities for leisure activities. I'm checking this now, and I'm adding the windows for the top floor in order to make it clear that also the other building parts on the top floor have the windows on the right side. I added some window in the hall that are more artistic. They're just like little peepholes, more independent, and in order to show that this is a roundish part, cylindric, I can visualize this with applying some shading. And then you can see these parts are round compared to the others that are not so round. And also the ones that are actually a bit further to the back, I will make a little bit grayer, so it becomes easier for the viewer to understand which parts are actually stepping forward and which are laid back, because this is a 2D drawing and it must be flat. I can add some grass to see, okay, this is like the exterior, the mountains in the background, and that's our elevation. So if I want to actually add the elevation of the dorms, it's very simple. It's basically like a box just a little box, a cookie box, and there you see it's a very simple drawing. The only thing that's sticking out, and that also is a reference to the main building, is the staircase that is partly outside of the building, and so it could actually be identified as part of the complex.